Hey everyone, Metagross Freak here, taking a look at Transformers Studio Series from Age of Extinction, Grimlock. Now, there have been leader-class Grimlocks in the past, but none quite this big, and none quite this beefy. This may be the only Studio Series figure I review. I may cover the Voyager Starscream, but I think I've covered enough Starscreams, but oh, it's so beefy. We've got some great art of Grimlock on the front. Wonderful window box where we can see the kind of greenish black patina that looks very screen accurate. More artwork of Grimlock. You can see a little bit of the window box, or at least the display piece. If you're not familiar with the series, basically the Studio Series figures try to release good figures, or at least very high-end figures compared to some of the movie line. Some of them, like in the case of the Starscream figure, are just upscales of previous figures. Others are completely new molds, like Grimlock, and you can see this is going to be really cool. It says big screen-inspired scale, detail, and backdrop. The backdrop included is of the Hong Kong pursuit in Age of Extinction, where Optimus Prime is riding on his back. The one-sentence bio we get is, freed from his confines, Grimlock unleashes massive Dinobot force. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be really fun. Here is Grimlock in his robot mode, and I realize that in true Bayformers fashion, he kind of looks like a giant gray blob, but that's only zoomed out. Zoomed in, he has a lot of really cool detail. He's a big, beefy robot. Just to show you how beefy he is, here he is with Titan's Return, Leader Class, Soundwave, who you can see is, about just as tall, but a lot more blocky, not nearly as burly robot. And in addition, a figure I reviewed about a week or two ago, Leader Evolution, Rodimus. If you need any proof as to how big he is, here he is with one of the figures I reviewed in the last video, Legends Class Wingspan. He literally goes up to the knees, which is pretty great. And just because it's actually worth comparing, here he is with my other Grimlocks. One of the Grimlock I reviewed most recently. Here he is with Power of the Primes, Voyager Grimlock, who, as you can see, goes up to his waist. The first Grimlock I reviewed, Age of Extinction, well, technically it is Age of Extinction, but Age of Extinction, which was repainted into the Last Night Voyager Grimlock. You can see he doesn't have the mace hand, instead he has the pole arm, and my Grimlock doesn't have very good ankles. Unfortunately. It makes it hard for him to balance, but there we go. You can see he goes up to kind of mid-torso. And then here he is, just because it's also Grimlock, with the Robots in Disguise, Grimlock, and Gold Armor Grimlock, who kind of go up to mid-thigh there. So yeah, this is my 5th Grimlock that I'm reviewing, and it'll be fun to see how they all compare to each other in their T-Rex modes too. This is just a big, beefy, awesome Grimlock. He's got some amazing detail in him. For example, I'm just going to see if I can get in here with this, but example, I don't know how well it'll show up on camera, but you can see on its torso we've got some it looks like kind of like gears and mechanical detail in there. I mean, he's got some really nice detail. Love the head mold. They've even got really decent molding on the back of the head, which is completely unnecessary. Oh, he's a big boy. um, I'm gonna get the downsides out of the way. One, this is obviously more of like a display piece, and you can, unfortunately, there is some gappiness around the jaw here. If you look through the jaw, you can see a little bit of cavity on the inside, especially from certain angles. But you know, it's not too bad, and if you close the jaw, it's a little forgivable. There is some actually pretty nice molding in here. The posability in Dino Mode is a little less than stellar, but I mean, just look at him. Look how big he is, and imagine having to balance all of this. This is a big figure. He actually does scale well enough with Legends class figures that a Legends class figure can ride him. So here he is again with Wingspan. I've pre-posed him. You can see there is Wingspan riding Grimlock, and the physical form of Wingspan kind of helps to fill in some of the gappiness too, if you are seeing it from the right angle. Yeah, so if you have Legends class figures, you can have them riding this Grimlock, which if you want to get the more iconic image, you can always try to find a Legends class Optimus Prime, or just pick a Legion class and just, you know, pretend that Grimlock is even bigger than he already is. I love this mode. In the patina, basically the like the metallized paint with the black wash and the black plastic with the metallized paint wash, it just gives it this really nice, like, antique, rusted vibe. It just looks absolutely phenomenal. So I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, how does Studio Series Grimlock stack up compared to other Grimlocks? Great question. Here, of course, we have Studio Series with his Age of Extinction / The Last Night Voyager class counterpart. You can see with the spear added, he is actually a little longer than Grimlock, but we don't really care about this. In fact, I'm just going to remove the weapon. Here he is just in the dino form, and he's a lot smaller. He looks more like he is Grimlock's baby, coming in for a cuddle. Let me rotate Grimlock around so we can see them kind of side by side. Yeah, you can see I've got the tips of their tails lined up. He is just a monster compared to the first Grimlock I reviewed. And also, here he is, just in case you're wondering, with Power of the Prime's Grimlock, again, fairly small. You can see he barely reaches the hip from a front view. Clearly dominating Grimlock. And then, if you insist, here he is with the Robots in Disguise Deluxe Class Grimlocks. You can see they are very teeny tiny, barely reaching the knee. This is just a big Grimlock. I think that the figure as a whole suffers from posability due to the advanced molding they used. If maybe the molding had been simplified a little bit, like what they did with, like, for example, the shoulders on this guy. If they had simplified the molding a little bit, it would have been a little bit easier to work better joints in and a little more posability. But I think if you just had this on a shelf, it's going to be a statement piece. It looks amazing. Even on its own, it'll look great on a shelf, and it'll look great in your movie collection. And then also included, I didn't show it before, but included, they've got the little backdrop, the kind of a diorama piece here. This one, of course, being from Age of Extinction during the Shanghai chase scene. And it can unfold a little bit, but the idea being that they can... the picture on the box shows him standing on the little red platform here, and he does not fit there. He has to stand in front of it. But, I mean, if we unfold this a little bit... yeah, I mean, it can look good. This has been Transformers Studio Series, Leader Class Grimlock. I think if you're a big fan of Grimlock and don't already have a Voyager you love, or even potentially a Leader class that you love, this is definitely a good figure. He's definitely worth picking up, though the $45 price tag is a little steep if you're more of a casual collector. You can get some pretty neat poses with him, though I find the hips section to be kind of difficult to pose. The two side skirts have trouble angling. I've had this front skirt piece pop off, and then the inner hips don't seem to like staying connected when you move the legs around. So keep that in mind when trying the pose. As you can see, I just have a fairly simple pose here with the head at an angle. I have this arm flexed a little bit to be at a slight angle and bent, and I have this arm up. And so this is kind of going for more, for example, more of like a menacing, like, you know, I'm going to punch you kind of pose. Now, what you do with your Grimlock is up to you, but I hope you at least consider getting this figure, because he's pretty cool. I don't regret buying him. I actually do enjoy it. I'm going to put him right on my shelf. So I hope you consider getting him as well, regardless of the minor quips that I had. Anyway, until next time, I've been a Gross Freak, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!